How do you find a passion in your life to get you through the times when things get hard? Hi, I am Kayla, and I am your host of the Profitable Salon Owner podcast. And today I have invited Mandy Pulse onto the podcast with me to talk about passion. She has a really cool passion project that I can't wait for you to hear about. So, Mandy, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. I'm so glad you're hanging out with me today. Mandy has such a cool story of just things that she's done all over the world. So I'm excited to jump into that. But first, Mandy, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about who you are, what your salon is, how many years you've been in business, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I
Yeah.
love sharing my story and sharing about passion. It really is something that, like you just said in the very beginning, has kept me going during some really hard times. So I am a salon owner. I've been a hairstylist for 25 years. Every year, I just had a birthday Tuesday, and every year when I turn another year older, I have to think about, okay, I was 21 when I graduated from cosmetology school, so I kind of use that as my gauge. So I've been in the industry for 25 years,
Wow.
hair all of that time. So, and I come from a family of hairstylists. So my mom's a hairdresser, still a working hairdresser,
Oh,
still doing
wow.
hair. And my grandpa was a barber for 50 years.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I come from a long, I just grew up around it, really. And started doing hair in a corporate salon, worked there for 12 years and loved it. But when I found that it just wasn't for me anymore, I decided to go out on my own and open my first salon with a couple of business partners.
Wow.
And after 4 years there, I sold my partnership and opened another salon, which is where I currently am. And Salon Inspire has been open almost 7 years now. I'm still doing hair a couple days a week behind the chair, and I run the salon. And about 7 years ago is where part of my passion project came in. And I was invited to go on a mission trip, basically, to Cambodia to work with some human trafficking rescue organizations in
Wow.
that area. So that changed a lot of things, and that's where a lot of this part of my story comes in. But those are all the things that I do now. So I have my passion project, which is now Global Stylist Scholarship. I work at the salon, run the salon, and I still do hair. And I, of course, am part of HPSA. Love mentoring other salon owners, and so that's where I'm at today.
Wow, that's so cool. So I guess before we start getting into the connection and the impact that having this passion project has been for your salon, let's talk a little bit about what this passion project is. So what is you said the Global Hair Scholarship?
Global Stylist Scholarship
Nice.
is the nonprofit organization I started after. So I went to Cambodia with another organization called Rafa House, and it is a human trafficking prevention program. And when I returned from that trip, I just really felt this pull and passion to continue doing something like what they were doing in Cambodia. And my mom's best friend is a missionary living in Guatemala. And after meeting with her and just discussing what that might look like in Guatemala, we took our first trip. And our first trip was my mom and I, because my mom is a stylist. So she was able to join me as an educator. We had one translator, and I think we had 6 students. I thought we had 5, but looking at some pictures, we had 6 students. And that's where it all started. And during the pandemic, obviously, we had a couple of years where we didn't travel. You couldn't even leave the U.S., of course. And during that time, I decided to form a formal nonprofit organization because we had taken a couple of trips, and I could tell it was growing. I could tell that it had momentum. So we took that time while we weren't traveling and teaching to actually form what is now Global Stylist Scholarship, a nonprofit organization registered in the U.S. And we take teams to Guatemala, and we just started organizing our first trip outside of Guatemala. So yeah, it's just growing like crazy. And our last trip, we had 15 educators, 13 translators, and 29 students. So it went from the 6 students to 29. And I think we have our February trip is completely filled up, educators and students. And I think we have 26 returning students. So we have people who have come back multiple times and are continuing to grow their skills. And so that's really what Global Stylist Scholarship is an organization traveling to developing countries to teach the trade of hairdressing. And because right now we really only have 1 week with them, we just teach hair cutting. We also take an entire kit so that they can start a business or get employment at a salon. So we take everything, their shears, clips, combs, everything you can think of that someone would need to work as a stylist, we bring with us. So we've just been doing the hair cutting portion right now, but we have had 5 classes and we have had a couple of students attend all 5, and they are now cutting hair for employment or doing hair in they've like created a small salon in their home. Some of them do some give back projects in the community, which is it's just an amazing
Trickle effect.
trickle effect. Absolutely. So that's kind of what we're doing now.
Wow, that is like so cool. Every time I hear the story, one, I learn to do new things, but two, even listening to that and how cool it is, it gets me excited of like, man, it's so cool that people like, yeah, you found a need or you found like, hey, like you had a heart to serve and like, how can I make this happen? And to go from 6 people to now like multiple, like you've served so many people and you've taken so many people and you've also changed the lives of the people you've gotten to take to do that. So that's really, really cool. So how do you balance like, or let's see, where do I want to start this? So what has having a passion for that part of being a hairstylist or a salon owner, how has that affected you as an owner?
Oh, that's a great question. So, I always enjoyed serving in my community before, but it
Yeah.
just really amped that up. It just really grew to be a fire within me. And so we work with the Ronald McDonald House locally here in Kansas City. We do haircuts for the houseless. We do a lot of different things. And I would just say when you find purpose in those things, it really does help you get through the rough days. Like you might have a really rough customer in the salon. We've all probably, if you've been a stylist, just days where people just drain you, and
Yeah.
to be able to go and serve someone who is so grateful, it just fills your tank right back up. It's like
Yeah.
those hard days are so much easier to get through when your tank is full. And so everybody, not only do I do those things, but I also take my team to do those things. And so they also get their tank full by going and serving others. And just seeing the power of a haircut, right? We see that a lot in the salon, but it is really different to do that for somebody who can never repay you for it. You're just doing it because you want to give them an experience. You want to make them feel better for the hour that you're with them or half hour that you're with them. And they stand up out of the chair and they walk away looking and feeling so different. And that experience is so powerful for them, but also for the stylist doing it.
Yeah.
So it really did change me as an owner, being able to give that opportunity to my team. I actually have had a couple of my team go to Guatemala. Most of the time it's been the salon owners, especially that I've met through HPSA, but I have taken a couple of my team and their lives are changed. You've met many of the people that have gone, and the stories they come back and tell about how their lives are changed. And so it just really is impactful. It's very impactful for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been on 2 missions trip when I was in youth group and stuff, and we'd go to orphanage. We went to Honduras. And that experience in itself is really like changed my life. I went twice, one time as a student, one time as a leader. And it was really cool just to see different culture and things like that. But I think what's really beautiful about this is like you're taking people, like their passion, their livelihood here in the States is cutting hair and serving people and getting paid to do that and creating their whole livelihood. And like you talked about, they go to another country and they are seeing a completely different culture and they're offering haircuts for nothing in return. Like that's huge. And to be able to offer it, like that's a really cool thing. So when you hire people in, is it like a requirement to work there to be a part of this? Or do you just are you just really open, like, hey, this is an option for you? What does that kind of look like in your salon?
Yeah, great question. So it's definitely not a requirement. It is part of who we are and part of our culture. And so I think that because we do promote that that's the kind of salon we are, we generally attract people that are interested
Yeah.
in serving or giving back, but it's definitely not a requirement. And I definitely have a few people in my salon that have never gone and done, Ronald McDonald House, and some that have never done haircuts for the houseless and have absolutely no interest in leaving the country to do
Yeah.
what we do. But I think a lot of people like to support us in a way that they feel comfortable supporting us.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways they can support us that don't involve actually doing the work. And so it takes all of us. And so I would say they come with this, maybe that mindset, but they don't always want to participate at the level some
Yeah.
do.
But you still attract the people who, like have like creating that culture in your salon that it is something what you do. So when people work there, they know that they belong.
Yeah.
They're a part of something that's bigger than just the salon that's in Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. Well, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, I want to dive into the impact that this has had on you personally and impact it has had on you as a business owner and just all the impact it has had in a bigger scale so we can talk more about that. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
All right.
Ready to transform your business and improve your salon's profitability? With Lonza's 3-in-1 technology and intermixable shades, your hair color inventory is streamlined with limitless creativity behind the chair. Click the link below to unveil the secret to salon success.
Welcome back to the Profitable Salon Owner podcast. I'm hanging out with Mandy. We were talking about her passion project. Mandy, remind me what it's called. The hair, wait, Global Stylist
Scholarship.
Yes, where she is going to Guatemala and she's about to send a team to another country. Where else are they going? Where is the other country you're going to?
So we don't have it completely organized yet, but we do have a contact and we're starting to set a trip to the Philippines.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. Man, that is like really cool. So we've been talking about a passion project. So Mandy, I want to dive a little bit more deeper into like we've heard about what the passion project is and how big of an impact it is, but like how does that like just really support you as like a salon owner of having something in your life that is something bigger? Because it's obviously, I mean, yes, it's cutting hair, but it's not necessarily in your salon. So what has really been that impact and the purpose of having that you found in having this passion project?
Yeah. So I think one of the things that we talked a little bit about already was how it gets me through the hard days. I think many of us can relate to burnout, right? And so we go through these days, just days upon days upon days where maybe it feels like nothing's going your way or nothing's going right, or you feel like you're spinning plates, right? We're just working, and we don't feel like we're making any progress.
Yeah.
And one of the things every single time I take a half a day to work on Global Stylist Scholarship, whatever it is, it fills me right back up. I'm reminded why I might have spun plates for the last 2 months doing whatever it is I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this renewed energy for coming back into the really hard days. Yeah. And so before finding that, when I went to Cambodia, before doing that, I hadn't owned a salon for very long, but I definitely had some burnout moments in my career, whether it was just from being behind the chair, raising a family and trying to work full time, all the things that I was doing at the time. I never found anything that filled me back up as quickly as something that I was so passionate about. And I think another thing was I was just really surprised by it. I wasn't searching for a passion. I really thought my passion was just serving my clients, which was, that's also a passion. I won't discount that at all. Because for the longest time, that was really what filled me up, was just making sure that I did the best that I could with each client that I had. And, those people that were happy were enough to kind of fill me back up. Yeah. But this was a game changer as far as just feeling very connected to the industry. Yeah. And also finding other people that had the same mindset as me. So it just really did change my mindset towards the industry. And it made me feel very connected to the entire industry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, so if you're like, because it doesn't have to be necessarily if you're looking for something, like it's about having a passion that's that's like just bigger, something to strive for, whether it's like serving your back and giving back to your community or giving whatever it looks like. It could take many different forms of just having something bigger than the four walls of your salon to be able to know that you are building more. Like I know for some, like I'm talking to Danielle earlier, our different podcast, and she's like, her passion is also giving life to her stylist, and that's what she focuses on. So it doesn't mean you can't focus on other things. It means focusing in on something that's like, this is a huge part of why we do what we do. More than serving our guests, it's serving the lives of our stylists or serving the people in other countries and building a program that serves for more. And then, yeah, like Mandy was saying, it helps you get through the hard times. You know that every hard day, every good day, you just know like, oh, well, I'm building towards something really, really big and really huge. And you see that growing, and then your salon's growing, and then everything starts to connect together, and you have more of a purpose in the four walls of your salon, which I think is really, really huge. Mandy, what has been the biggest connection and the effect that having this passion on like your staff and your in-house of salon, what has that been like? What kind of conversations do you guys have?
Opening a new salon or remodeling? Feeling overwhelmed? we've got you. At Collins, we custom build salon equipment made just for you in Tennessee, with local reps and designers to guide you from layout to delivery. Explore at collins.co/HPSA.
I think probably the thing I've heard the absolute most is how proud they are to work somewhere or be connected with a group of stylists that serve other people. There's a lot of pride in saying, we do these things because it really does go beyond yourself at that point, and it just makes you feel happy to be around others like that. And I love what you said, that it's serving a purpose bigger than yourself. When you only serve yourself, or even sometimes your own team, it can just feel confined. It can feel like, I dream really big. Let's be really honest. Like, I have huge dreams. I have big ideas. And I don't know that dreams is even the right word. Like, I have all these ideas. And so when I feel confined to to the four walls of a certain space, or I feel like I can't take these ideas and roll with them, it kind of makes me feel sad and like I'm not really sure which direction I'm going in. But when I have big ideas and I'm able to implement them and grow them, it makes me feel like I can, continue to do big things. And I think that, so my team feels the same way. They feel very connected to the industry in a big way. And so they're like, we can really make a difference here. We can really make an impact. And to know that there is a hairstylist somewhere in Guatemala that has the skills they have and they have the tools they have because of some action that we did is so rewarding. It really does make you feel like you can just keep striving to make a difference. You can keep striving to help others. And to Danielle's point, I think a lot of us that become owners at some point, the first passion was our clients, then our passion becomes our team, right? And so it just continues to grow that same philosophy of serving and helping the industry and growing it.
Yeah, that's so huge. Because I love, like, it just helps, you feel like you're bigger than you, like, doing something bigger than yourself. And like, we all, like, we want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. Like, we have that, like, desire to be there, whatever that looks like for different people. Now, some people may not have that desire, and that's totally fine. If you're like, no, this isn't for me, then I get that. But it does help feel like, I mean, if you get, like, I don't want to say bored, but if you get just like, man, I don't want to play small, and I want to play really big. And like, our mission statement is to elevate the perception of the beauty industry. And that's also what I heard you saying, Mandy, is that, like, it's helping do that. It's helping, like, we're more than just hairstylists. Like, we're traveling the world, we're doing things, we're involved in this, we're doing that, and we're being able to expand past that. And that's what's really cool, that I love the connection that I'm making with it. That's really cool to be able to offer that. Now, again, it doesn't necessarily be in other countries. It could be, neighboring. I saw another one of our clients. When she went to a bar in Tennessee, and she was cutting people's hair for free. She was just cutting. She was like, anybody who came up, she was like, I'll cut your hair, cut your bangs, whatever it is, do a little trim or do a highlight. Like, she loves it, and she found something she wanted to do, and she went and did it. And I think that's what I would love for, if you're listening, for you to understand, is like, if you have an idea and you're like, man, it'd be really cool to do that, just start the ball rolling. Just starts with the idea. If you want something and you're like, man, I'm owning the salon, but like, man, what a cool opportunity if we were to go do that. And whatever it is, I'm sure maybe if you're listening, something's popping into your mind. And I would encourage you to just strive on that. Because like what Mandy was saying, it's helped her get through the bad days. It's helped her find something bigger than herself. And that's what's really cool, is like, we have the beauty industry, the salon industry is filled with people who are creative and talented and incredible people. Like, I'm surrounded by lots of them, and it's really cool to see that there's so much potential there. And so you're also shining a light on the beauty industry, the salon industry, of like, you are more than the four walls of your salon, which is really, really cool. Okay, so what has been how much is the, like, oh, that was my question. I had a question earlier, and I was like, man, I forgot it. But I just remembered it. What does this do for your guests that come in? Like, do you have pictures up in your salon? Like, how much is your salon connected to what you guys are doing in Guatemala?
Are you ready to increase your retention and revenue and convert website traffic to clients? Then you're ready for Maya. Maya creates better business relationships by pairing the right clients with the right beauty professionals. Use promo code HPSA for your first 2 months free. Visit joinmaya.com to get started.
So that, I actually don't have any of that. I probably need to. sometimes our little voice gets in the way, right? We all learn about that little voice where it's like, I don't want to, display this everywhere. I love it and I talk about it a lot, but it is not something that is displayed in my salon. I think my clients probably know about it, my clients that have been with me a long time, but I don't know that our salon clients know much about it. They probably know more about what we do locally, because we do talk about Ronald McDonald House and the haircuts for the houseless. But because we do, different drives and things around the holidays to bring things to the certain communities we work with. Yeah. But I don't talk a lot about Guatemala, interestingly. And I don't know why that is. I hadn't really thought about it, if I'm being honest. So that's something I might work on this year. Yeah. So thank you for that idea.
Totally. Yeah, because I love that. And if you think that would be a good idea, comment good idea, or send us a message, let us know, because I'd love to know what you kind of think about it too. Because in my mind, I think about we've talked before on the podcast about having a culture in your salon of I think I, in my mind, kind of man, that'd be such a cool thing. If I knew there was a salon down the street and this is what they were doing and they were, going to other countries, I'd be like, man, I'd want to go there and I want to support that. So I do understand there's other things to think about, but that would be really cool. But I do understand having the conversation, just being present with it is cool. How has this opened, having this passion project, how's it opened other doors in your community or in your life?
Well, I get asked to be on a lot of podcasts, which is and I just love sharing what we're doing. I get asked the question a lot, why other countries? Why are you going, why? Because there's somewhere you could serve in your own community or in the States. And so how I respond to that is developing countries mostly don't have any kind of regulation around hairdressing. And so it's a trade you can teach someone and they can just go do the skill and make money right away. They don't have to apply for a license or anything like that. In the States, obviously that's very different. There's licensure and registration and, testing, and which is great. That's the way I think it should be. But that does restrict us a little bit as just a, grassroots campaign going out trying to teach haircutting. Yeah. So that is one of the reasons we choose the developing countries. And I think that, really, I have a vision and a hope that someday we can offer scholarships in the States to people through Global Stylist Scholarship that can pay for their schooling as well. So I'm hoping that we can wrap this into something even more local and continue to grow the knowledge of it in our community, and also know that if there's stylists out there in your community that want to do this but can't afford it, that there's somewhere they can turn to. So I don't know that answers your original question, but it is a little bit about why we chose developing countries. And what was your original question, Kayla? Because I feel like I got off of it a little bit.
That's totally fine. How has it opened other doors in your life because of doing this?
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I definitely feel like it attracts the, stylists and team members to us that know about it. And so it's opened the door to just talk about our culture. I do a lot of podcasts because of it. And I've just met a lot of amazing people because of it. I have friends now in Guatemala. And because of social media, I'm able to talk to them often. With my birthday being Tuesday, I think 2 or 3 of my friends from Guatemala messaged me. And to just be able to have friendships like that with people who are from different cultures. I also took my kids to Guatemala twice. So it has opened a door for me to be able to feel safe in a community where I was able to take my kids and let them meet other people who, grew up differently than they did, and just culturally just different, explore different foods. We talk about, we'll go there, and the host we stay with, she is, from the United States. So we'll have an American meal and invite the Guatemalans to eat with us. And then we'll have a Guatemalan meal. And so it's just been really fun to be able to explore that. But also just, again, find the like-minded people in my own community that I can connect with.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I love the experience it has, because I know if you're listening, you're just I don't want to do that, or that's too big for me. And I hope that you hear that. I want you as a listener to be able to be inspired of doing something that excites you, and whatever that is, it doesn't have to be another country. It could be anything, that just to bring in more, to have something that you can build upon that's bigger than your business. And if right now just building your business is enough for you, then I totally get that. But the benefit of having something bigger than that is it's more it brings a lot of life, brings a lot of opportunity, brings a lot of area of growth. If you've stuck around with us, if you've listened to anything we've ever done, you know that personal development is a huge part of what we do. It's like, it's not just about building you as a business owner. It's about building you as you as a person. And so finding things in your life that just challenge you to think outside the box, or to grow, or to see life in a different angle, or to support other people. I just want to encourage everybody listening to find what that is for you and to be able to pursue that, because like Mandy, your story is so inspiring, of something like you had an idea and it came to life and now it's grown. And that's the thing. You have an idea, you just start pursuing it. And that's the thing. It's like you have all these big ideas. And I love that about you, Mandy, that like when talking with you, it's such a fun trip, because you have a lot of ideas, but you also act on those ones, and you're like, well, this is my idea, I want to move with it. And so sometimes it's just a matter of just taking the first step in front of you and pursuing something like that. So Mandy, what would you say to people who are like wanting to pursue something more than owning a salon? What would you say to them?
Building a salon empire takes vision. Staying profitable takes the right tools. Right now, HPSA listeners get 30% off Aura Salonwear for 3 months, plus $5,000 in free text. Get started at aurasalonwear.com/HPSA.
You know, when you were talking about what I did, the thing that kept popping in my head was just take the first step. Send an email. I mean, Jason's even had us do that in a destination training, where he's like, get out your phone and send a text message to somebody. Like, right? You have all of you have an idea of some kind. I want you to send a text message or an email right now to somebody about it. And I would say that's such great advice. And that's pretty much what I did. Was I received an email from someone way back when, before I had any idea that this was even an opportunity, and I had no idea that this even existed. I received an email from someone and I said yes. And I've told this story, but I'll tell it again. I'll never, ever forget this. This was way back in snail mail. My application that I filled out for the first trip I went on someone else's trip, there was an application, and it asked questions about like my pastor. And I was starting to go to church at the time, but I didn't have a pastor's name to put, like a pastoral recommendation. How many mission trips had I been on, which was 0? How many times had I been out of the country? 0. How many classes in hairstyling had I taught? 0. And I had to answer all those questions that way. And I thought, there is no way I'm going to be invited to do this. Like, I've done nothing to deserve this or earn this, or even, I don't know. I just felt like I'm just going to fill this out. And I sealed that envelope, and I remember putting it in the mailbox, and literally it's right next to Z Hair Academy. There's a post office right there. And I said, I'm going to put this in the mail, and Lord, if I'm supposed to go on this, then just say yes. And if I'm not meant to, then just say no. And I totally understand. And I got a message a couple of weeks later. Again, I had to drop it in a mailbox, wait a couple of weeks. And I had to do a second interview. Anyway, I walked through the steps, right? I just kept saying yes. I just kept walking through the steps. And before I knew it, I was in Cambodia with 10 people I didn't know. And I was like, this is incredible. I'd never even been outside of the United States at the time. Never taught a hairstyling class. I'd been a hairdresser for a long time, but I'd never been trained as an educator, nothing. So just say yes and try different things and step outside your comfort zone. Send that email, send that text, fill out that application, and whatever is meant to be for you, for your passion, will find you.
Wow, Mandy, what a great way to end this. That's so true. It is like, just trust that your idea and your heart knows something that you may not know, and that you have a passion and it crossed your mind for a reason. So pursue that and take one step at a time. Thank you so much, Mandy, for hanging out with me and sharing your passion with everybody listening. If you want more information on Mandy's passion project, or just how to start a passion project of your own, comment passion, and we would love to reach out to you if you're listening, because I know I keep saying this because this goes on YouTube if you didn't know if you're listening. But if you are listening, you can find us anywhere and just message us, say passion, and we'd love to chat with you. So thank you for listening on Profitable Salon Podcast. Mandy, thank you for hanging out with us, and hopefully we'll have you again on soon.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You've been listening to the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a review, and check us out at profitablesalon.com for more episodes, content, and to help you turn your salon into the business you've always dreamt of.